MTG Scoundrels, it's in the cardboard. Ladies and gentlemen, scoundrels of all ages, welcome back to another episode of Modern Weekly. Today on the docket, we have Eldrazi Agro versus Boros Twin-ergy. Starting off with a Gemstone Caverns, both players on 6 here. Here's an idea. Make sure you play your Gemstone Caverns after you decide you're putting a card back. Looks like exiling a Sowing Mycospawn here. And passing the priority. So there's Arid Mesa. That's getting cracked going to 17 here for a Sacred Foundry. Quick apology early here. We are, in fact, testing out a new film setup. So if it's a little shaky, we apologize. We are working on that. Had an Ocelot Pride there. Here, we got Chalice of the Void on 1. Eldrazi loves to see it. There's another Arid Mesa. Ocelot Pride getting in. Bringing us to 19 to 18. End step. Making a cat. Passing the turn. There's It That Heralds the End. Powerful 2-drop Lord. Cracking of an Arid Mesa once again here. Probably finding the Elegant Parlor. Yep, there it is. We'll be seeing a Surveil. Notably missing the 3rd land drop here for the Eldrazi player. Surveilling, looks like betting it. Untapping, drawing. There's another Arid Mesa into a Goblin Bombardment. That definitely is not a 1-drop. 2 getting in here. In some ways could be a free kill. However, taking the 2 here instead, going to 17 to 18. End step, making another cat, passing the turn. Making sure that turn was passed. Yes, it was. Drawing for turn. Is a 3rd land found here? Oh, there's the Yugen's Lab. And that'll find Thought-Knot Seer. Thought-Knot Seer, ETB, look at the opponent's hand. Looks like going to exile the Village Bellringer, being that Chalice is already on 1. Village Bellringer is a combo with Splintertwin. It That Heralds getting in for 2 here. Bringing us to 17 to 18. Cracking the Arid Mesa. Finding a tap Sacred Foundry. Bring us to 17-15. Untapping. Drawing for turn. We saw earlier how many 1-drops were in hand. It'd be interesting to see if the energy player is still in this position. There's a tap Sacred Foundry. Passing the turn. Here, well, yep. Tapping for 2. Another It That Heralds. And passing. Passing back. Must just be drawing all the 1-drops. There's a forest. 5 mana. Casting the Devourer Destiny. Being cheaper off the 2-hit that heralds. And energy will scoop it up here. Game 1 going to Eldrazi Agro. Thank you all so much for watching us here at MTG Scoundrels. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe. Be a friend, tell a friend. So a wild thing happened since the last time we talked, and that was a ban and restricted announcement. 3 cards got banned. Of course, we got Gigantha. We have the One Ring, which is the one that needed to go. And we also have Amped Raptor, which was an interesting call for these energy decks on to be banned or not. But crazy enough, we also had 4 unbannings, and in this case, obviously in front of you, we have Boros Twin-ergy playing the card that got unbanned, Splintertwin, which was legal when I first got into Modern. And it's been banned ever since, essentially. At the time, it was one of the best decks in the format. People love this card. And it got unbanned, and now we're starting to see some more classic Splintertwin lists pop up. And then there are some lists that are just adding Splintertwin because it combos with Village Bellringer. Make a bunch of dudes. Essentially get infinite life if you have a Guidus Holds out. So keep an eye on this list. Though I think Boros Energy is going to do more with just adding Fable the Mirror Breaker instead of playing the One Ring. Now that the One Ring is banned. Of course, in this matchup, you're going to see Obsidian Charmaw come in out of the board thanks to the amount of colorless sources that are being playing by the Eldrazi Agro list. And the Eldrazi Agro player bringing in some more removal, specifically sweepers, to deal with their board. All Is Dust being a premium piece here. And some lists even still running K-Return. Other cards that were unbanned. Green Sun Zenith, which I think is actually the most fun of the unbanning, excuse me. Because a lot of combo decks just can't run it right now. And that's really just going to open up some new avenues for stuff. Granted, of course, finding Primeval Titan is still one of the best things you can do with Green Sun Zenith. Now, Mox Opal getting unbanned as well is going to be one of the pillars of the format now that it's back. The real question is, when will it get banned again? We know it's early, but you can see things like Lantern Control. You can see things like Affinity. And there's even some other lists that are really wanting Mox Opal. They're running Urza Saga. It seems like an easy include. Just add a couple extra artifacts to make sure you hit your artifact count, since Mox Opal counts for itself of the 3 artifacts it needs to be able to activate. Wouldn't be surprised if there's some food lists along the line that'll ultimately play it, specifically Asmo food lists, being that you can technically turn 1 Asmo by going Underworld Cookbook, Mox Opal, discard a card to the cookbook. There's 3 artifacts, use the Mox Opal to make the mana to cast Asmo. So we'll see where we go from there. And of course, Faithless Looting, which ultimately has brought Arclight Phoenix back, as well as Dredge, as well as classics of the format at one point in Hollow One, and has seen a resurgence in these Indomitable Creativity decks, giving it another avenue of being able to dump your Archon in turn 2, bring your Archon out with Persist. Now, if you're looking to pick up some cards, definitely check out our sponsor and host, Warden Games, a wonderful place to store them out. TCG player link in the description, as well as their store link. You can also, if you need tokens, check out our friends Arcane Artistry. They make wonderful stained glass tokens in acrylic. And if you're looking to get some art projects started or need some art for your business, check out our friend Chandrar, made art for this channel. Their email in the description below. They're currently open to new projects. All right, both players looking at their 7s. Eldrazi Agro deciding to go ahead and bin it. Take a look at a new 7, keep 6. The aggro list really wanting to have a disruption piece and an answer, which in some ways almost makes you feel like you're a tempo player to a certain extent. However, it really is built on more of an aggro timeline. It'll be interesting to see how these lists move forward here in the future. Yeah, Fable of the Mirror Breaker is still a hell of a card. But without the One Ring, neither of these decks rebuild like they used to. And really when I say that about the Eldrazi list, it's very much about any of the Eldrazi subtypes. Ramp, aggro, through the breach, etc. Devourer of Destiny getting revealed here pregame after getting rid of a card, going to 6. There's an Ocelot Pride. Devourer of Destiny will trigger. Interesting 4 cards. Looks like I'm going to put an E-Temple up and exile 3 cards here. A Waste, a Forest, a Carpulsian Forest, and a Glaring Fleshraker. Cavern of Souls being played, naming Eldrazi. Flooded Strand. Ocelot Pride getting in for 1, bringing us to 19 to 21. End step, making a cat, passing the turn. There's an Eldrazi Linebreaker. Getting in. Flooded Strand getting cracked before damage. Finding a Sacred Foundry. Would not be surprised if we see a Galvanic Discharge here. There it is. That'll take care of the Eldrazi Linebreaker. Untapping, drawing. There is an Arid Mesa for turn. Tapping 1. Guide of Souls. Attacking him for 2. Bring us to 17 to 19. And then we'll go to 17 to 20 with the cat coming in off of the Ocelot Pride. That'll also make it energy. For mana, there's a Thought-Knot Seer. There's the Splinter Twin of the Twin-ergy fame that we've been talking about. A Flage in Obsidian Charmaw. Charmaw probably getting taken here. Yep. That'll get exiled. Arid Mesa getting cracked. Probably finding the Elegant Parlor here. Showcasing that the 3 Galvanic Discharges left in the deck were at the bottom. But yeah, probably finding an Elegant Parlor here to set up draws. There it is. Surveil trigger incoming. Leaving it on top. Untapping. Drawing. There's 3 mana. That'll be a Flage. So ultimately gaining 4 life here, dealing 3 damage to the Thought-Knot Seer. And there's now 2 energy. And here attacking in, making the block more difficult. Yeah, definitely attacking in for 3 here. There it is. Going to go ahead and take it, going 14 to 24, gaining another life. And that will ultimately mean we get another trigger from the Ocelot Pride, bringing in another cat, which will gain another life, bring us to 14 to 25. And a third energy, passing the turn. This is really where the Boros energy lists tend to snowball. There's a Talisman of Impulse. And now it's just a matter of, can the Eldrazi deck survive long enough to get one of its pieces to clear the board? Alright, there's an Aether Hub. That'll bring us up to 4 energy. Ocelot Pride attacking Guided Soul's trigger. It's going to put 2+1/+1 counters on it and give it flying. So getting in for 3 here. That'll bring us to 11 to 28. And there will be 2 cats made at end step. That'll get us 2 more energy. And 2 more life, bringing us to 11 to 30. And passing the turn. Alright, needing a 7th mana here, it looks like. If there's going to be an Allah's Dust. Looks like we're going to be 3 mana for an Eldrazi Linebreaker here as a blocker and passing. There's an Arena of Glory. Plenty of stuff to do here. Ocelot Pride getting in, as well as one of the cats. Guided Soul's trigger, putting 2 counters on the cat. So getting in for 6, gaining 3 more life. That'll bring us to 5 to 33. Also a key point here, both the Pride and that cat are out of range for something such as Kozilek's Return. Alright, do we find the land here? Does not necessarily look like it. Nope. And that'll even us up here, 1 game apiece between Eldrazi Agro and Boros Twin-ergy. Thank you all so much for watching us here at MTG Scoundrels. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe. Be a friend, tell a friend. Thank you all for sticking with the channel as Modern went through a little bit of a dull phase there. We're excited to see new decks pop into the format, as we mentioned earlier. Heck, I've even seen some Mox Opal Collector's Cage lists that are rather wild. Some food lists running Green Sun Zenith. Heck, even the other day there was a Mox Opal Cheerios deck that looked insane as well. And of course, splintertwin is back. Hollow One Vengevine lists, basic Hollow One lists, Mardu lists. You name it. The format's back to being wide open again after these bannings and unbannings. So it's going to take a couple of months for the format to figure out where it's at. And that's really the most fun time, because so many things just are viable at this point, which you would not have anticipated. Now with Eldrazi on the play, it'll be interesting to see how fast of a start they get off to. It's those fast Eldrazi aggro starts that ultimately win them a lot of these games. A Chalice on 1 early on. a threat on turn 2 that's hard for opposing decks to deal with. We'll have to see. Looks like both players working on 7s. And starting out with another Devourer of Destiny, which has been here for all 3 games. Really just smoothing out the draws for this Eldrazi list. Wow. That is a tough 4 to choose from there. An E-Temple, a Glaring Fleshraker, a Chalice of the Void. In some ways it depends on what's already in hand. But if an early Chalice of the Void can get down, it just opens things up so well, turning off a lot of the hate and removal that the Boros Twin-ergy deck can play. Yep, keeping the Chalice on top, exiling those 3 cards. There's a Devourer of Destiny in there as well. Though at this point it's already done its work. There's a Temple. And passing. Sacred Foundry going to 18. And there is an Ocelot Pride, which we have seen pretty much every game here as well. Snow-covered Wastes into turn 2 Chalice of the Void. As strong as ever here. Tap Sacred Foundry, Ocelot Pride getting in, bringing us to 19 all. End step, Cat will be made. Passing the turn. Will we see a turn 3 Thought-Knot Seer here? There's a Cavern of Souls naming Eldrazi. There it is, TKS in the flesh. Oh, what a hand. Turning off the 2 removal spells, but that is 3 Obsidian Charmaws. TKS going to go ahead and exile one of those and pass the turn. That made things a lot more difficult. At least you know what's coming. There's a 3rd land. Looks like reading, just making sure how much it's going to cost here. That's 3 colorless sources. So 2 mana, Obsidian Charmaw. It's going to destroy the Eldrazi Temple in play. And pass the turn. Wooded Foothills, that's going to get cracked here. Bring us to 18 to 19. Probably finding a forest would be my guess. Though knowing there's another Charmaw in play, and depending on what you need, I mean, the mountain also would do the job if you're playing K-Return. Getting the mountain. These Boros lists do tend to also run Blood Moon, so that is something to keep in mind. So maybe the forest would have been better there, but maybe not. All right. TKS getting in. No blocks. Bringing us to 18 to 15. And passing the turn. If that isn't selling something, I don't know what is. There's an Arena of Glory. That's a bit scary. All right. There's an Obsidian Charmaw with haste for 3 mana, thanks to there only being 2 colorless sources there. Cavernous Souls getting hit. Alright. Looks like deciding to float a mana instead of being ridiculous. And casting a Kozilek's Return to kill the Ocelot Pride and to kill the cat. We'll take an 8 here. Bring us to 10 to 15. Remember, kids, float that mana before you put it into the graveyard. There's 3 mana for an Eldrazi Linebreaker. Giving itself haste, attacking in. So that'll be a hit for 9, bringing us to 10 to 6. And this match is closer than we thought it would be. The real question is, do you leave both Charmaw back as blockers? Or just leave one back and start chipping in with the other? This is where a Lightning Bolt would play really well, but there is a Chalice of the Void out. Deciding to go ahead and attack in with the Obsidian Charmaw. Passing the turn. Leaving one back as a blocker. What is the top deck here? Wow. Eldrazi Linebreaker. And that'll do it. That's enough to get the last bit of damage in. Game, set, match going to Eldrazi Agro. Off one heck of a top deck there at the end. Thank you all so much for watching us here at MTG Scoundrels. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe. Be a friend, tell a friend. And we will see you all next week in this brand new modern format.